Welcome to the video. Today I'm going to be explaining a system to get unlimited freelance clients from Upwork. Now this works great if you are a beginner freelancer or if you're trying to bring in a recurring stream of freelance income without having a great portfolio on Upwork. You can even do this if you don't have any reviews. Now I haven't seen anyone talk about this on YouTube yet, and I just think it's one of the easiest ways to get your first clients or just to build that revenue up, because it's exactly what I did. Now when I started freelancing, I wanted to travel around and see countries, but I wanted to make online income so that I could do that. So I started freelancing, and this right here is how I got some of my first marketing clients as a freelancer through Upwork. Most freelancers fail at Upwork because they don't think outside the box. They just see it as a freelancing marketplace. And not even that, but they see it as a flooded marketplace where everyone's racing to the bottom. But the truth is, how are you actually going to compete with your competition, who's these $3 an hour VAs and freelancers who have like 10 plus years of experience? I remember I was looking at Upwork and I was trying to apply for these jobs, and I didn't have any experience, any reviews, any portfolio. So if you have that, then you were already ahead of me when I started, and I was competing against people who had made $200,000 on Upwork. And I was like, how am I ever going to do that? But the truth is, if you do it the traditional way, if you use Upwork like it's meant to be used, you can't compete. It's too hard. At least you can't do it on Upwork. And you can't do it unless you put in tens of hours or hundreds of hours just applying and doing personalized messages and spending money on connects just to try to break even on the actual projects that you get. So that brings us to the question of how we can actually use Upwork to make thousands of dollars each month without competing against the entire marketplace. Well, first, we have to understand that Upwork is a marketplace of hot leads. All right, that these are people, this is such an incredible place to gain access to, because these are people who are consistently looking for a service, who have a budget, and who are looking to buy. So you don't want to write off Upwork straight away. When I started, that's sort of what I did, and I got my first freelance clients through cold outreach. But let me tell you, after doing this system compared to cold outreach, doing this with Upwork with these warm or hot leads is so much easier than it is to do cold outreach. So at the end of the day, these leads, there's a ton of them, but they don't actually care if we come from Upwork. All they want is a talented freelancer who will deliver a high quality service. So what I made throughout my experience and learning and failing and doing it is I created a 5-step system so that you can actually reach out directly to companies and pitch your service, making getting clients so much easier. So if we can't showcase our service to a dream client directly, that's what we have to do. We have to outreach directly to them outside of Upwork. Now, step one, and I'm going to show you exactly how to do this live. I just want to go through with it, step by step a bit before so that it's clear. So step one is going to be look up your service. Obviously here, Upwork has a search bar. This is the worst drawing I've ever done, but you can search up your service. So I was doing social media marketing, social media management, especially. So that's what I would look up. Next up, I would scroll down and you're going to find jobs with company names included inside of the description. For example, this right here is the 5th job on my page. So I looked at 5 of them, and 3 out of the 5 had company names in them. I took this 5th one as an example. So let's say that you open it, you see that they're looking for a social media content creator with experience to run ads. I could say, hey, that seems interesting to me, but how am I ever going to compete when they're going to have tens and tens of applications for that same work? Well, I can find their name in here. So I found the name Blink Finance, which is a job for the company that I'm applying to. So then you can think, well, instead of actually applying in Upwork, I'm going to find that company outside of Upwork and reach out to them with as many touch points as I possibly can, which brings us to point number 3. In this example, I found that exact same, and you can see how this works. This is a post from Upwork that I found from Blink Finance, where I then found their Instagram page, their LinkedIn, they even had their Facebook and their email. So if I really like this job posting, if this is a company that I could potentially really want to work with, then I'm going to reach out to them on every single platform that I can find. And if you put yourself in the position of the company, who are you going to be more interested in interviewing? Is it the guy who's on Upwork who has a 1-line description and who you can tell that he didn't even write a personalized cover letter? Or is it the person who reached out to you on every single platform that you have with a personalized message or Loom saying that they want to work with you? Well, it's obviously the person who reached out on every single platform and who wants to work with you. This right here is one of the messages that I would send. You can tweak it a little bit, but basically you want to reach out and you want to be different. You want to be unique because as I said on Upwork, they're getting so many messages, so many bland, basic messages that you want to stand out. Now this one right here isn't my best. It's pretty bland. I wrote it up quickly, but I just say, hey, my name's Emmanuel and I'm reaching out regarding your Upwork social media posting. I know you're likely getting a ton of applications. I made you a quick 2-minute loom going over some ad creatives and campaign ideas. And you're going to say in this loom exactly what they're looking for in the job posting. And I would also make a loom. If I really like the job, I would take 5 minutes. I'd make a 2-minute loom on how I would actually help them. Maybe show some ad creative ideas, showcase their page, show what I would change. And you just blew all the competition out of the water just from that change, just because you're showing exactly what you can do for them and you're bringing it exactly to their doorstep. And I'm finishing this with, I'd love to meet sometime this week. Are you free sometime Friday? I'm asking a yes or no question. Are you free sometime this week? Would you like to meet, etc.? I'm making very clear what the next step is. So finally, step 5 is to track your reach outs, because even though these leads are going to have a very high reply rate and you're going to have a very high interview rate, you still want to track your reach outs because some of the companies need to be followed up with multiple times before they're actually answered. Now, this is one of my old prospect tracking sheets when I used to do this. And you can see here I have the name of the business that I found on Upwork, where they came from, a link to their website, what the last message was, what I did last, and what this is super important. What is the next action? Do I have to follow up? Do I have a first call? When do I follow up? What's the next date of that follow-up? Because that's super important, because a lot of these companies won't actually answer on the first message, but they will answer on the second, third, or fourth message, because it'll show that you're really interesting and they'll at least want to give you a shot and hop on an interview with you. So if you're thinking, like I did when I started, I was like, okay, but how is there going to be enough job postings for me to do this? Like, if there's like only so many companies list their name in their bio, so is this going to be a waste of time? Am I actually going to be able to make enough money with this? Well, I asked our dear friend here, ChatGPT, how many jobs are posted on Upwork daily? And if he broke that down, he said about 8,200 jobs posted per day. And if you actually go onto the Upwork page and you just like look at a few jobs for like 5 minutes and then you refresh, there's another 10 jobs that just came on. So you can literally like scroll through Upwork all day long and just continue applying to jobs. If you do this for 2 weeks, 14 days of just applying to jobs, making a portfolio, doing quality personalized outreach, you will 100% get your first client and get multiple clients for recurring revenue. Now, as much as this is good, and I can show you this slide, I actually wanted to show you exactly what it looks like when we do it together. So this is Upwork. I haven't searched anything up yet. This is just my account, and I'm going to search social media management because that's one of the first service that I started to offer to companies to make my first money online. So what I would then do is I would then scroll down, all right? And you're going to have to open these because a lot of times they actually include their name at the end of the description. But I'm going to scroll down. And for sake of time now, I'm not actually going to open every single one, but I would if I was looking towards it. And I'm going to go down and I'm going to look to try to find a company name. There we go. We are preparing to launch Versa Pro. So let's click on this and see what they're looking for. Well, they're looking for a social media and community manager, Facebook group plus ads. This is great because if you do know how to run Facebook ads, sometimes you can get their pay and you can also add part of the commission on the ads, on the revenue that you're bringing in. So this has potential to be a great job. So I'm looking here, portable training machine just for pickleball and tennis players. That's great. I like sports. I can message them and start with that. So let me just search up their website that they're straight up giving to us. Look at this, and it's remote, periodic check-ins in US Eastern time. That's exactly what I want. If I search up their website, here we go. All right, so this is an interesting product. Anyway, so what you want to do now is you want to find all their social media platforms or all the touch points that you can actually reach out to. So the way that I'm seeing their website now is they don't actually have any reach outs on their website. So I would look it up. I would search Versa Pro Sports IG. Maybe this is it. It is not. See, so sometimes you just have to, this is interesting because you're seeing me go through it live. You know, sometimes jobs have it and are easy to find. Sometimes they aren't that easy to find. So like in this case, I would probably just look for another minute or two, see if I can find their Facebook pitching machine. Let's just try one last time. Pitching machine IG. So we've got their, I think that's still their website. Yeah. So in this case, they're kind of hard to find online, which is why they're hiring you. But I might input my email and then I'd get their email and then I'd send an email right back to them. That's probably something I'd do. But just for just to continue and show you what it actually looks like, we're going to keep going. So right here, we have content, social media funnel, faith-based long-term partnership. Here we go. Seeking and passionate. Well, look at that. They even gave us their website. Here we go. So let's look at it. And you know, you take more time to look through the jobs and actually find ones that you're really interested in and things that you'd like to help and that you can actually provide a service. So look at this right here. Because of Upwork, I have their Facebook, Instagram, Indeed, and their TikTok. This is insane. I can reach out on 5 different platforms at once if I want. So for now, look at this. I can find them. And what I would do next is I'd send a message, and I would then write like the message that I sent in the example. So I'd say, "Hi Dwayne," if I can spell. "Hi Dwayne, love your last post," and I'd write exactly what his last post was. "I'm just reaching out from Upwork. I've made you a 2-minute loom on how you can grow your Instagram page. Cool if I send it over here." And this is one of these strategies that I like to use because, you know, a lot of these people aren't necessarily going to answer you. So you don't necessarily want to take all the time to actually make that content and make the looms for them. So sometimes I'll just be like, "Hey, is it cool if I send it over here?" And I'll make the loom after they respond. Then I would reach out, I would go back on his website and I would reach out to every single platform and I'm going to touch base with him at least 5 times. Then I would add him to my tracking sheet. And once that is done, I'm going to come right back to Upwork and keep scrolling it down until I can do this person after person, business after business. Now, if you're thinking this is too much work, I can't like keep scrolling on Upwork. The quality of leads that you get from doing this is 100 times higher than if you're doing cold outreach. This is one of the easiest ways. You don't need experience. You don't need a portfolio. You don't need Upwork reviews. You don't need to spend connects. It is one of the easiest ways to get started. Literally, I'm confident that if I had 14 days to start from zero, I could confidently do this and make multiple thousands of dollars just through this. Given you have to have skills that you can offer these people, you actually have to have something you can offer. It is not a scam, it's freelancing. So that was it for more of my strategy. That was my system, at least one of the systems to how you can get unlimited freelance clients from Upwork. I'm going to make more videos like this in the future. And the next one, or one of my next ones, is going to be a system to acquire 3 to 5 freelance clients each week through Instagram, which I did to make my first $5,000 online. It was just straight up Instagram cold DMs. So I'm going to show you guys exactly how I did that. Peace.